Every night, you promise yourself that tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow you'll wake up early. Tomorrow you'll stay focused. Tomorrow you'll finally become disciplined. But tomorrow keeps turning into another yesterday. So what if the problem isn't your discipline at all? What if your brain has simply become better at protecting comfort than building your future? And what if you could slowly teach it to do the opposite? Maybe you know exactly what you should do. Wake up earlier. Exercise. Read more. Work on your dream. Put the phone down. You've made those promises before. Sometimes with excitement. Sometimes with tears in your eyes. But a few days later, you find yourself back in the same place. Watching another video. Scrolling a little longer. Telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow. And every tomorrow quietly teaches your mind the same painful lesson. Maybe I just don't have enough discipline. But here's the truth almost nobody tells you. Your brain isn't trying to ruin your life. It's trying to protect what it already knows. It hates uncertainty. It hates discomfort. And above all, it hates giving up rewards it has learned to expect. Every time you reach for your phone instead of your purpose, your brain isn't making a moral decision. It's following a familiar path. A path built one small choice at a time. The more often you repeat that choice, the wider that path becomes. Eventually, it feels automatic. Not because you're weak, but because your brain has become incredibly efficient at repeating what feels safe. That's the hidden enemy. It's not laziness. It's not a lack of willpower. It's conditioning. For months, maybe even years, your mind has been taught that comfort comes first. A notification. A short video. One more episode. A few more minutes. Each one whispers the same message. Choose what feels good now. And your brain listens. Because that's exactly what you've trained it to do. The painful part is, every time you believe discipline is the enemy, you unknowingly strengthen the real enemy hiding underneath. Not failure. Not a weakness. But a brain that has learned to confuse comfort with safety. The beautiful news is this. What has been trained can also be retrained. Think about how you learned to trust another person, not because they made one grand promise, but because they kept showing up. Again and again. Your brain works the same way. It doesn't believe words. It believes evidence. Every small action you repeat becomes another vote for the person you are becoming. That's why trying to transform your life overnight so often fails. Your brain doesn't recognize dramatic intentions. It recognizes repeated experiences. So if every attempt begins with impossible expectations and ends in disappointment, your brain quietly concludes, this isn't who we are. Not because it's trying to hurt you, because it's trying to protect you from another painful failure. So don't fight your brain. Teach it. Tomorrow morning, don't ask yourself to become a disciplined person. Ask yourself to become someone who keeps one promise. Just one. Read one page. Walk for 10 minutes. Work with complete focus for 15 minutes. Leave your phone in another room while you eat breakfast. Small enough that resistance has nowhere to hide. When you keep that promise, pause for a moment. Don't rush to the next task. Let your mind notice what just happened. You said you would do something. And you did. That quiet moment is more powerful than it looks. Because your brain is recording new evidence. Evidence that you're no longer acting only when you feel motivated. Evidence that discomfort is survivable. Evidence that your word is beginning to mean something again. This is how discipline slowly changes. It stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like self-respect. Not because the work becomes easier, but because your identity begins to change. You're no longer forcing yourself through every action. You're becoming someone who protects their future instead of constantly comforting their present. And every promise you keep makes the old path a little weaker, while a new one begins to appear. One day, you'll notice something surprising. You won't wake up excited every morning. You won't suddenly love every difficult task. But you'll stop negotiating with yourself. Because discipline was never about enjoying discomfort. It was about becoming someone your future self could depend on. The strongest people aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who quietly keep choosing what matters. Even when no one is watching. Even when motivation is silent. Even when progress feels invisible. Because they've discovered a truth that changes everything. Every act of discipline is an act of self-respect. Every promise kept is a conversation with the person you're becoming. And every small choice tells your brain, this is who we are now. So don't wait for your brain to suddenly love discipline. Give it a new experience. One kept a promise today, another tomorrow, then another the day after that. Over time, your brain will stop expecting escape and start expecting integrity. Not because you forced it, but because you patiently taught it a different way to live. Your life won't change in one extraordinary morning. It will change through hundreds of ordinary moments. When you quietly choose your future over your comfort. Those moments may seem too small to matter. But together, they become the evidence that rewires your mind. They become the foundation of self-trust. And from self-trust, discipline no longer feels like a burden. It feels like freedom. So if you've believed that your brain is working against you, remember this. It has only been practicing what you've repeatedly taught it. Starting today, teach it something worthy of the life you're trying to build. Because you are no longer someone waiting for motivation to arrive. You are becoming someone who creates it. One honest promise at a time. And maybe years from now, when people admire your consistency, they'll never see the quiet mornings, the small victories, or the promises you kept when no one was watching. But you will. Because that's where your new life truly began. And remember, the mind follows the path you walk most often. Choose one your future self will be proud to remember. Welcome to Reset. Think. Mount.